So what I tell sellers is a variety of different things. But the number one thing that we're telling sellers is I ask them, this is the unique thing with wholesale. So when I go into wholesale, I'm going in and I'm trying to figure out what other wholesalers are paying, right? The whole time. I'm trying to figure out what they're paying, and then that way I know where I can get myself in and blah, 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 all that stuff. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to learn wholesale, watch the other podcast. We do wholesale too, but this is all Subto. The advantage of going in as Subto is by the time it gets to me, I already nobody's solved the problem, and so I just go, tell me why you weren't able to sell to the other 15 people you've spoken to. And they go, how do you know I spoke to so many people? I go, because I've been in the business a long time and I know that you've spoken to 15 people, 4 real estate agents, Zillow, OfferPad, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm here and I have a magic wand in my pocket. I just need to know which magic wand to pull out. Mm-hmm. So you tell me, what can I do for you? And I go, tell me how all the conversations have gone so far and why you weren't able to sign a contract with anybody prior. So now at that point, they're just giving willfully, just here you go. This guy said this guy said that. And I go, okay, well, what would it actually take to make this deal work? And they go, I don't think you can pay it. And I go, are you challenging me? Sometimes, say that. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, well, look, I can pay, and then they'll throw out their number. I always get their number and they go, I need 180, or I need 20,000 in cash, or I need this or whatever. And I go, okay, well, assuming I can come up to that number, which is 30 grand more than the other investors were offering you, would you be willing to give me something extra in return? I do this in almost every one of my closes, and they go, well, yeah, sure. Well, what is that? And I go, I'd like to ask you to give me terms on that money instead of me paying it all up front. Would you be willing to do that? And then I shut up. Literally, in these recordings, you'll hear me shut up, and they go, okay, what does that mean? I go, okay, imagine, and this is a true story. This is how I learned a lot about this stuff. I have a truck. And I want to sell that truck. It was an F-150. My wife and I love that truck. It was the first car I had when I was dating, but I didn't want to sell it unless I sold it for 10 grand. The problem is that truck was only worth 5 grand, right? Typical homeowner, they want 10 grand for a $5,000 house, whatever. And so I said, one day I wasn't driving. I was sitting in the driveway, and I said, I'm going to throw this on Craigslist, and I'm going to put it as $10,000, but I'm willing to accept payments. And immediately it was like 30, 40 people reaching out to me like, what payments? I ended up selling that house with payments plus interest, or not that house, that truck. I sold that truck for $12,000 over the course of a 3-year note that I created, right? Or a loan.
Yeah.
So I sold a $5,000 truck for $12,000. It's no different than a house, right? A little bit different instruments and paperwork and all that kind of stuff, but it's no different. If the seller wants to give you or wants a certain number, I just go in there and strategically align myself with them and go, how do we make this work for both of us? It is the easiest close ever. So when people go, oh, it just seems so hard, I can't believe you're doing it, I'm like, guys, if given the opportunity, even though I'm the guy who closes a lot of wholesale deals, given the opportunity, I would rather be in a subject to appointment. It is so much easier because you're paying more for the house and you're satisfying more problems that the seller has.
Right. So they ask terms, they're confused, you explain to them.
Right, and then I actually tell that story. This recording I put up on Dropbox, I kind of have gotten sick of my own story, the Ford truck story, because I've told it over and over like a stand-up comedian tells his own act 1,000 times. It's the same thing I say, and I hit them with terms. I go, you can sell your truck at $5,000 cash for today, but if you give somebody terms and the benefit of being able to go utilize that truck and make money off that truck by working and painting, maybe my truck ended up being sold to a painter. So he could take that truck, go make money with it, and he could afford my payments while taking care of his family. So if you're willing to give me payments on your house that I could turn around and rent it or Airbnb it, I can make basically any number that you want work within reason.